Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for your first time. Thank you for coming back. So my audio is going to be a little bit wonky for a second. Can you hear and see me now? Yes. All right. Hello. Welcome everyone. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is everything is coming together in perfect time. So there's some good stuff coming together for you. Whatever this good stuff is, let's go with it. Let's just go with it. Let's see where it takes us. Hopefully to somewhere nice. Okay. I'm almost ready, guys. 2 more decks to pull from, or 1 more to pull from. All right. 1 more. How's everyone doing? I'm suddenly super sleepy. All right, here goes. Okay. A lot of cards. A lot of cards. Let's see what's happening. All right. So, cycles. Someone is trying to create some conflict for you. This is a cycle that you apparently consistently go through. I don't think this is going to be successful, though. Whatever conflict is trying to be stirred up for you to negatively affect you, it's not going to work. Their magic is upside down. So it's not going to work. It's going to be something that's just going to waste whoever's time, energy, resources. Yeah, let them do whatever they're doing. Who cares? Seriously, let them do whatever they're doing, because who cares? Whatever needs to be put to a halt, you'll be able to do that. So don't worry. Okay, don't worry. Focus instead on what you're manifesting. Focus all of your energy and your magic on what you're trying to do. Now, whoever this other person is, they're trying to create an issue, right? And by summer, whoever or whatever is helping them, they're not going to be together anymore. I don't know that it's a romantic relationship between those 2 people, but whoever those 2 are, they're just drama. Don't bother with them. Don't bother with them. You have amazing things that you need to allow to come to fruition, that you need to focus your energy on. And it seems like whatever this is, it's just a last ditch effort to get under your skin and halt what you are doing. Either you're going to have to speak openly and bravely about whatever's happening or about your story, or whoever's trying to keep a secret, trying to hide the details of something, they're not going to be able to hide it. Some information is going to come forward for you. And because they can't keep it secret, they won't be able to contain it. Everything is going to spill forth. And I think this is probably going to be the trigger, the impetus for you to really just be like, you know what? I'm completely done with that. I'm completely done with you. I'm moving forward. I don't need any of this drama, because you don't. You don't need any of that drama. And you're going to redirect all of your attention on what you do need to work on, which is bringing to fruition an amazing opportunity. I think part of what's going to happen has to do with you seeing from a different perspective. That's kind of the sense that I get. Yeah. So the feminine in reverse. Usually this will be like, oh, you're messing up or something along those lines. I don't feel that though. I feel like this is you needing to see things from a whole different perspective. Whatever that perspective is, it's going to speed along your process. Because you're seeing it from a different perspective, you're going to feel as though you're not as powerful, you're not as efficient, you're not as this, you're not as that. It's okay for you to feel that. It's okay for you to kind of question, but you have to continue on your process. You have to continue with your path, because what's happening is there are new experiences being laid out before you, right? If you don't know what to expect, for it feels like for some people, uh, you have a little bit of that perfectionism going on, and you want all the details. You want everything to be laid out. This is not how this is going to work, but everything is going to come together in perfect time. Again, because it's something that's not familiar to you, it's going to seem like, oh my God, am I messing up? Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. No, you're not messing up. This is the process you are in, and you are in this process for a reason. Okay. So you have to flow with it. You have to just really let yourself flow with everything that's happening, letting yourself recognize the ways in which everything's taken care of, maybe. Yeah. Maybe it's just time for you to, I don't know, let things happen for you. Maybe it's time for you to trust in your process. I feel good things are in the works. I feel like there's a lot of progression that's happening. And if you just keep going in the way that you have been, putting as much effort as you have been, like continuing that, I feel like really, really good things are about to happen. Imagination in reverse. So this is about you no longer gaslighting yourself into a space of thinking you're just imagining things. Things are just a coincidence. No, I think for quite a few of you, your intuitive abilities are activating. You're becoming very aware, very, very aware that the next part is actually here. You're now going to be given the opportunity to create what the next part is, right? I would highly recommend you don't play it small. Whatever you create for the next part, make sure it's a big thing, a big deal. Make sure it is I get this like surge of energy. It's the sense of like the path is being cleared. And as the path is cleared, you're becoming disoriented by the rumbling and the shifting and the movement of large obstacles that were once placed in front of you to prevent you from moving forward. Everything is coming together in perfect time. It's this visual of like driving down Highway 1 and as you drive down Highway 1, there's a landslide in front of you. If you guys don't know where Highway 1 is, it's this long highway that goes from Southern California up into Northern California, and it basically hugs the coastline. It's a very beautiful drive, very scenic. But it's also a drive that, depending on the season and the weather, it carries with it some potential danger. That's an area of highway that has a history of like landslides and just craziness. No joke. And it's like this landslide came down in front of you and you've been stuck in place for quite some time. And now, you're feeling a little disoriented because as that landslide, the earth that's blocked your way is cleared out, you're kind of being triggered into a space of remembering what happened before when you were first blocked. So this visual of earth being what's covering you. I think maybe your stress about your earthly existence, rent, bills, utilities, earthly relationships, earth-based dramas. I think that's what's blocked your way. And now here comes soul in a big bulldozer, just clearing it away, bit by bit, clearing it away. And you can't see them yet because they're on the other side of the blockage. Ooh, ooh. And then now I'm shown this other visual where it's like there's this, I think it's like 2 lanes or maybe 4-lane highway that connects Lake Tahoe to the main highway. Lake Tahoe is in the mountains of the Sierra Nevadas. And sometimes when you go, or even Reno, a lot of people in Northern California that we go to Reno or Lake Tahoe to go gamble, right? It's not that far. And if you're going in the wintertime, it's a beautiful drive, but there's always the risk of an avalanche. Always. Oh my God. And I remember one year, I think I went for my birthday, and it was time to go home, and all the traffic was backed up. They were saying we shouldn't leave because there was an avalanche. And what they do to clear an avalanche oftentimes is they'll set off explosives. They'll just detonate explosives and it'll blow the snow out. And it's this thing of, for some of you, you've been stuck in a very cold environment, right? Just a very cold environment, very anxious to move forward. And here comes soul with their explosives. And it's like, boom. It shakes the whole mountain, right? It shakes everything. And if you've never experienced something like that, it's going to be scary. It's going to be absolutely scary, but it's absolutely necessary. So that's what's happening right now. You're feeling like you're not getting the guidance that you need because this is brand new territory that you are traversing. This is a very, very brand new space. Maybe for the visual of Highway 1, you're afraid of the ocean. You're afraid of cliff sides because a lot of that highway is a cliffside. You're going to fall into the ocean. A lot of it is the cliffside. And I think sometimes what needs to happen is we just need to kind of be okay being in the car, knowing that people who have received the appropriate training are the people who are clearing the path. They know what they're doing. Soul knows what it's doing. Let it clear the path for you. It's guarding you. It's protecting you. It's keeping you safe from the things that are scary, the things that are intimidating to you. Everything is coming together in perfect time. Okay, hold on. I need to reshuffle this because it's basically all the same cards. All the same cards that came out the other day. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. It's literally all the same cards. A fiery climax approaches, but it's not going to approach. You're going to go slow and steady, right? Oops. Meditate and contemplate. Just really contemplate on the ways in which soul is providing you the experiences that are necessary, that soul is taking the appropriate steps for you. A time to give rather than to take. It's time for you to allow yourself to receive, right? Be passionate in your stance about yourself. Yesterday I was live streaming on TikTok or last night, and someone early on in the live stream comes on and is like, they commented something along the lines of, you should discount your prices more. How about fuck you? How about fuck you? Go to someone else. And why did I take that stance? I mean, I didn't say fuck you. I said, don't ever try and convince me to lower my value even more. That is highly offensive. Why? Because now I'm very passionate and very adamant in my passion that I will not allow anyone to convince me that I am not worth what I am. Not to mention, I've had an ongoing sale on my website since COVID first started. Okay. Like, there's limits as to what I need to forego just to prove what? That I'm nice? No, I'm not nice. I'm kind. And kind requires authenticity and realness. When people try and convince you that who you are, your expectations, your needs, and when they're aligned with the reality of your value, when these people try and convince you, no, maybe Soul has it set up for me to not know when you go live on TikTok, because you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying, Ocean? Hey, do you know what I'm saying? Right? I know myself and I know what I do with what I earn. I'm not going to publicly announce it, but I know what I do with what I earn and the ways in which I help. And no, I will no longer allow anyone to try and even imply that I am less than what I am. You need to get to a point where you're not just quietly angry. What business do you know has been as caring and concerned about consumers since COVID? I mean, everyone just went back to business as usual. I know myself. And people who don't know me will make these types of comments. They'll try and get more. And like, no. And this goes beyond any business type situation. This is about how people are treating you in your life. You have a need, you always cater to everyone else's needs, and suddenly you have a need and you voice that need, and no one wants to help. No one wants to validate you. No one wants to be there for you. Okay, accept that, but also accept you're in the wrong environment. That is an environment that is structured to simply drain you, to use you as a commodity. Nope, I'm good. I'm good. Nope. No, thank you. No, thank you. No. You need to get to a point where if you want everything to come together in perfect time, you have to stop letting others pull you apart. Okay? Now, everything I just said, it's going to rub some people the wrong way. Good. Consider it free exfoliation. Consider it free exfoliation. I'm very good at exfoliating. I'm very good at exfoliation. Let me rub you a little bit, soften you up, get you nice and smooth. So that way you're not so dull. Okay, let me stop. I was totally joking about that. I don't want to rub anyone. Prosperity lies ahead. If you're going to let people continue to pull you apart via guilt, via gaslighting, causing you to feel and agree with their erroneous statements that imply you deserve far less than what you are, you're not going to have that prosperity. You're just not. We need to be completely done with this desire and goal to be seen as nice. I'm not nice. I'm very quick to reiterate that these days. I'm not nice. I'm kind as fuck. I'm very kind. I am. But when you cross boundaries, when you try and convince me that I should join you in that space of mediocrity, that space of allowing people to tell me I am less than, no, that doesn't require kindness. That requires an appropriate degree of opposing energy. It just does. At this point, it just does. It just does. Right? So it's this thing of like using that TikTok thing as an example. Hey, we all have budgets to work within. If my services don't fit within your budget, you can privately approach me and say, Emmy, I need this, this, and this done. Is there anything that we can work out to make that happen? I'll suggest either expedites, I'll suggest a payment plan. We'll work through it together. But if you're going to try and put me on the spot as though I should be embarrassed, no, fuck that. Fuck that. I absolutely believe everyone should spend within their budget. And if my services are not within the budget, that's okay. I respect that. You need to take care of your in real life needs first. But no way in hell, no way in hell will I accept audacious public statements intended to shame me into a space of submission to a demand. Fuck that. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I tell you this as someone who has allowed people to do that to me for many years, many years, many, many, many years. People who have not seen me for quite a few years, some of them still have this belief that I'm easily accessible. That you could just reach out and I will do all the energetic work that you asked for right then and there. It does not matter the time of day. You asked, you have a need, let me fulfill it. Let me drop everything I'm doing. I'm not that same person anymore. I'm not. Because doing that, it didn't do anything for me. It didn't have people see my value or anything like that. Mm-mm, mm-mm. It just made me highly accessible to those who had no problem draining me more. Am I saying they're bad people? No, I'm saying that's a very toxic environment for me. Someone who does not deal with boundaries very well, right? You have to recognize when you struggle with certain aspects of your growth. If you're struggling, you don't put yourself in environments that continue to poke what's struggling already. Okay? That's like if you struggle with alcoholism, that's a serious thing. Okay? If you struggle with alcoholism, are you going to put yourself in a bar? For what? To test if you've got it? That's a recipe for failure. That's a recipe for self-sabotage, to punish yourself. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Right? If you want all of these things to come together, you don't continue to immerse yourself in the very environments that very gleefully encourage you to forget about your boundaries, your needs, and the progression that you've taken, how much you've invested to get as far as you've come. Be bold and make the first move. But it's again in reverse. So what's that telling me? That this fear of how other people will see you is the very thing that's crippling you, preventing you from stepping forward. Yeah, people are going to see you in whatever way they need to see you. If someone needs a villain because they're writing their own story, if you fit the bill, you're going to be their villain no matter how nice you are. No matter how nice you are. I also learned that people love to find heroes. And once the novelty of you gets worn out, becomes old, they will seek out a new hero, which is fine, right? Except once they have a new hero, they're going to need a villain. Guess who the villain usually is? The old hero. Yeah. So, what do you need to do? It's very simple. Focus strictly on what your soul is asking you to work on. It's very simple. Stop distracting yourself. These are all distractions. These are all the things that we do to justify, to hyper intellectualize the excuses we make so that we don't have to work on ourselves. It's scary to work on yourself. It's scary to allow yourself to see the gravity of your behaviors, your actions, the options you choose, and the way in which you continue to block yourself. You have to see it though. You have to let yourself see it. Why? So you can punish yourself? No. You've already punished yourself. The time for punishment is done. It's so that you can repair whatever distortions and move forward from that. Keep going down the road, keep driving down that highway towards whatever the end destination is that soul has set for you. Your dreams need a practical plan. It's in reverse. Your dreams don't need a practical plan. All of this comes together and you don't know how it fits, but once it clicks, this dream of a picture that you've had in your mind is suddenly the reality you've created for yourself. Mm. This is not something you can rush. This is something you have actively been in the process of for quite some time. I came to a realization yesterday during the exclusive chat that we had in the sanctuary. It's been 7 years. It's been 7 years since a specific cycle started. A cycle that tore me down several times. uh, Completely distorted my perception of myself. Shoved me into a process of deep self abnegation for a prolonged period. I allowed a lot of people to get in my head and convince me horrendous things about myself that weren't even rooted in reality. And I allowed that to affect me to the degree that I sabotaged my own progression. At least that's what I thought. And then recently something clicked, all the pieces clicked into place. And I see now I had to go through all of these major lessons and micro lessons to really have a very nuanced understanding of my place, the appropriateness of me defending myself when needed, and really giving myself permission to be the person that I am. Very outspoken, very fiery in nature. That I'm not to dim myself in any way, shape, or form. And it's only then when I lose the last dregs of shame for being witnessed as someone ridiculously powerful and formidable that I will be ready to exit out of that cycle and enter into a new age. And then here it is. Here it is. Everything rapidly shifting from my focus to my path, to the trajectory, everything rapidly shifting. And I'm not even forcing anything. I'm just simply surrendering to the process soul has already carefully, very, very carefully planned out for me. Knowing I've been training for this the last 7 years without even realizing, experiencing the hardships that carry the greatest degree of learning. I mean, how intelligent does soul have to be to know exactly what life circumstance, what situations, what type of pain will ripen you to the degree that you burst open? Mm, 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 mm. Michael gives me this visual of entering into an orchard where the fruit is very ripe. So you smell the sweetness of the fruit before ever touching anything. And then he says, I wonder if the fruit even realizes how sweet they are. Do you realize the type of essence you carry? Do you realize that? In person, I'm a very subdued individual. I don't really talk much when other people are present. I mean, you have to be someone I really feel comfortable with, or I've known you for quite some time for me to share any of my thoughts. I'm just, yeah. I'm actually an introvert in real life, and I don't talk to people. And even with that, I don't realize that I project into my environment an energy that just draws people. And then one day, one of my alleged elder ops, no, she's not an elder op. This lady who keeps trying to talk to me at the gym, she's recently stopped and given me my space. But I remember one day she started a conversation with me, and she said as soon as she saw me in the gym, she said, I have such a huge energy, such a huge, beautiful energy. And that's why she made it a point to try and befriend me. I also think you saw that I'm a pushover and that I will entertain your stuff, get you feeling all nice and good and just super supportive of your taking of my time without asking for my permission. I think she also saw that. I'm totally like that. Your commitment is being tested, but here it's in reverse. Your soul knows you're committed. I think the only one that doesn't realize how committed you are to this process is you. Everything's coming together. And one of the most important components for you to allow to come to you is this realization of how committed you've been to this. You've shown up every day not realizing you're showing up. You show up every day not realizing that you're showing up. Not allowing things to shake you as much as you used to. That's pretty badass. Like, okay, so you guys saw the past several weeks, I have been having some uncomfortable situations in the gym. People are trying so hard to befriend me. And like I said, I'm very uncomfortable with other people. Unless you have a certain type of energy, or I've known you for a very long time and therefore I've deemed you as safe. I'm very uncomfortable interacting. And so I get all skittish when I see people are going to try and interact, and I get weirded out to the point where I don't want to work out anymore. And last night I went to the gym, and it's cracking up. That should have shut me down. I normally I would have just probably called my husband, like, come pick me up. I don't want to work out. I would have like messaged all my friends, like, you guys, am I misreading this? Are they, and I was just like, not tonight. So I forced myself to go to the gym and I'm working out and I'm lifting pretty heavy. And I'm at the Smith machines and I have 45-pound plates stacked on top of each other that I'm standing on because I'm deadlifting and I'm short. So I needed to be raised up. And I was done deadlifting and I was putting away the 45-pound plates. I was picking them up, one in each hand, and I was putting it back on the rack. And I went for the last two that were still stacked on the floor. And this guy, he walks up real fast and he's asking me something. And I was like, I'm sorry, I took my earbud out and I didn't feel any type of fear or anything like that. I didn't feel skittish because I'm finishing my workout. I'm already here. And he's like, "Are you done with this?" I said, "Yeah, no, go ahead. You could use it. I'm done." And I didn't realize he had come to put it away from me. And I was like, "Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I could have put it away myself." And then obviously I had my workout, my gym ring on, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." It didn't dawn on me until he looked at my hand and then he just quietly walked away and he disappeared. And I was just like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I don't know if that's you trying to shoot your shot or something, but that's unfortunate. Yeah, I could have put it away myself. And normally, again, I would have been weirded out, like, oh no. But I'm done shrinking away. I need to focus on what I'm there to do. I don't care who's looking. I'm there to do what I'm there to do. And everyone else is none of my concern. I am safe in my space. I am protected at all times. If I really needed help, I have no problem going to the workers, calling my husband, like, no. I'm done with that part of my life where I shrink away and I allow uncomfortable social situations to cause me to shut down to varying degrees. I'm done. I'm there to work out. And that's that. Like, no. I know, Teresa. I was like, oh, how cute. You realize I had 8 of these plates on the bar, not on the floor, right? I'm pretty sure I'm good carrying 90 pounds. It's just 90 pounds. Don't worry, sir. Did you not see what I was deadlifting? I was just like, this is weird. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and keep going. Sometimes things become awkward for you just because of the way you see it, right? The way you see it. And I don't typically go to the gym at that time, the time that I went. So it's completely different people with a completely different energy to it. And typically that alone will cause me to be like, I don't want to be here. This feels weird. I don't want to be here. But I totally was like, no. I freaking drove all this way. I put on the gym stuff. I'm finishing this. I got 3 more hours up in here. And so I did. I finished it. I finished everything that I needed to do. And I didn't let anything interfere with my focus of what I'm there to do. And I think this is a time in your journey where that's kind of where your mindset needs to go. Just remaining very focused, very, very focused on what you need to get done. Be fearless. You don't have to be fearless. It's in reverse. You can be afraid. You can feel intimidated. Keep pushing. Keep going. Allow yourself to shine. Don't dim your shine just because you've entered into a space of recognizing you're feeling intimidated by something, by someone, by a circumstance. You can still continue to function feeling intimidated. You can. You can continue to function. At one point, because yesterday was leg day, right? At one point, there is this girl who I sometimes see working out there, and she has phenomenal form. And we happened to be on Smith machines beside each other. And I forgot what I think she was doing squats or something. And I was doing hip thrusts, and I kept seeing her look over, which made me very self-conscious because I had a shit ton of weights on the bar and I was about to hip thrust that. And my immediate thought, because she has phenomenal form, is like, oh my God, is my form off? Is that where she's looking? Oh my God, am I not like properly? No, my hips are good. My movement's good. Legs are good. Okay, I'm just going to focus on working out because I was worried I was going to injure myself. I was immediately, my insecurity made me feel and think, oh my God, she notices that I'm doing this wrong. And she probably thinks I'm going to hurt myself lifting all this weight. And she doesn't want to say it. For all I know, she was impressed with how much I was lifting. I don't effing know why she was looking at me. Is that any of my concern? No. And you know what ended up happening was I told myself, knock it off and focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. You don't know why she's looking at you. And until she comes up to you and tells you, it's none of your business. I had to tell myself that. And as soon as I told myself that, I went right back to what I was doing. And I finished my entire Smith machine protocol. And then when I moved to a different area, that's when I realized, yeah, no. She was wondering how I was lifting it so heavy because I'm smaller than her. I'm much smaller than her. I got spindly ass legs. It's so embarrassing. My legs are so chicken leggish. But that was a thing. I saw her pushing herself later on, and she was lifting maybe a third of what I was lifting. It's not a competition, but it's just this thing of my view. It became apparent that my perception, my assumption, was not rooted in reality. It was rooted in insecurity. You can be very insecure and still continue safely if you focus on what you are doing, on the movements and the proper form. And I'm not talking about working out, I'm talking about your spiritual journey. I'm talking about your spiritual journey. You focus on the way you move through your life circumstance, on the form you have as you move. There are certain parts of you that need to be rigid, that need to be fortified. And there are other parts of you that need to be able to flow and move with grace. And you also have to pay attention to the ways in which your positioning will affect the way you move. An analogy for this, I was doing deep squats. I can go all the way down and my butt an inch off the floor before I come back up. And I was doing that. I could do that perfectly fine. And then I decided to just a tiny rotation. Holy freaking A. Like my feet were like this. And then this tiny bit of rotation, just the slightest rotation out. That puts your pelvic girdle in a completely different alignment. I did not have the musculature for that. I didn't. Because I went down and I stayed down. Not even joking. Not even joking. I did not use a heavier weight either. I went down and I stayed down and I just like, oh, fuck. And then luckily I was, because you can't just throw it back. It's a Smith bar. Yeah, I couldn't just throw myself forward. I'd probably tear my rotator cuff. So what did I do? I braced myself more. I just needed this much to be able to hook it back, which I did. And I was like, ooh, yep, can't do it that way. Can't do it that way. There are certain things that you go through that you can't ego your way out of, where you need to just pause, take stock, and be like, yep, nope, I don't have what it takes right now to do this. I'm going to have to work up to doing this. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. And I'm going to work on things that I can work on, right? The things that you need to work on, push yourself. The things that you're just trying to see if you could do it, don't let that shut you down if you can't. Everything's coming together. This is not something you can force or rush. Everything is coming together in perfect time. You have to allow yourself to communicate with yourself. I was absolutely talking to myself as I was sitting there in a fully squatted position. I was like, girl, look what you did. But how are you going to get out of this? You're going to yell. How are you going to get out of this? You can't bail on this like if it's a barbell. It's not a free weight. You can't throw it back and launch yourself forward. You can't do it. Your shoulders are stiff. You can't do it. You're going to fuck yourself up real bad. You're going to panic. You're going to panic. Are you going to panic? Because you don't have that luxury. Brace your core. Straighten yourself up a little bit. Use your traps. Lift it just a little. And that's what I ended up doing. I lifted my traps a little bit and I was able to lock the bar back in place and just come out from underneath it. Had I panicked, that would have been bad. The older lady that I was talking about earlier, she was on a leg press machine. This was months ago. She's on a leg press machine. The sled, the part that you kick up because you're inverted. You're kind of in a reclined position. The part that you kick up is called a sled. That's like 167 pounds on its own with no weight. She had, I think, like 50 pounds on top of that. So 200 something pounds. She's leg pressing. And she starts yelling for the guy that's closest to her because she couldn't get it to lock. The safety lock. She panicked. She was locking her knees. I'm like, oh, lady, you're going to get fucked up. Oh, Lord, don't lock your knees. Don't lock your knees. And luckily, the guy she called over was strong enough to like push it up while she gets out. All she had to do was rotate her feet out and bring it down to her slowly. I mean, it can only go so low. It can only go so low. And then put one leg down at a time. That's all you got to do. If it doesn't lock in place, that's all you got to do. She panicked. If you don't have someone who you can count on when you panic in your circumstance, that's not going to end well for you. That's going to create issues that you don't need to deal with. So as you go through your process, all you really have to do is pause, critically, strategically assess what are your options. How does this function? This situation that you're in, this dynamic that's been created, how does it function? What is a tactical way to remove yourself from that with minimal risk to you? I don't know if it's just my mind functions much differently than other people, but if I get myself into a situation, that's immediately what happens. Everything goes quiet, everything goes still. What is the most tactically advantageous way to extract myself from this circumstance with minimal risk or harm to me? What can I do? It's not panic. Anytime you panic, you're opening yourself to tremendous liability. So if you're someone that your knee-jerk reaction is to panic, you need to begin starting to condition yourself to breathe deep, pause, breathe, pause, breathe. That's all you have to keep repeating. Pause, breathe, pause, breathe, right? You have to start intentionally training yourself to be very tactical in your response. You have to assess the situation, right? If you panic, the likelihood of you having something to celebrate after you're done is not very high. If you allow yourself to instead enter into a space of communication between yourself and your soul, between the possibilities, potentialities, and the reality of the actuality of your reality, you can begin seeing the different options that your soul is trying to present to you, but in a very subtle manner, right? A very, very subtle manner. I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes it's that fear, that knee jerk reaction of fear that emboldens predatory people when they are considering preying on you. Sometimes it's that fear. I have a very distinct memory of going to dinner with a really good friend of mine, and it was just the two of us, two females, and we were in a downtown area. Well, old town area. I don't know. It was a part of town that was older, that had all of these like trendy boutiques and alleyways and whatnot. And a lot of college students go there. We went to dinner and we happened to have to park far and we needed to walk through dimly lit alleyways. And it's not scary during the day or even at night. They're lit with like twinkle lights. It's a cute little town. And so we're walking back to our vehicle. It's probably like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And we passed by this guy in the alleyway. It's just me and my friend. We passed by this guy in the alleyway. He's standing in the back of a shop. He has his bicycle, and I believe he had a hood on. And we walked past him, and he's kind of staring at us. No, we're not dressed scantily clad. It was cold. We had our jackets and stuff on. And I got a weird sense. I got a very weird sense. I sensed that he was considering mugging us. Yeah. And rather than not turn around and instead walk really fast, like I'm afraid, I slowed down my walking a little bit and I slowly turned around and I just looked at him in the eyes, not blinking, didn't look away. And I just looked at him. And he returned the intensity of my gaze before he looked away. He didn't mug us. Why? I'm not going to be an easy person to prey on. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to absolutely fight back. And if you think you're going to mug my friend because they might seem like they're an easier person, they won't fight back, that's going to give me the opportunity to really make you regret that. Mm-mm. No, I'm not giving permission to partake in something that is detrimental to my health and safety. Sometimes just having that mindset is enough to discourage a person who is predatory in nature. Like, mm-mm. You take a look at the lions in the wild, and they're trying to hunt a water buffalo. If it's running away, perfect. If it's properly positioned and the opportunity strikes, that's perfect. It can take it down. And all it has to do is hold on and hopefully get it in the face, get it in the neck, something to block off the airway and just hold on. That buffalo is down. But if you watch videos of a buffalo not agreeing to be eaten, it will turn around and face the lion. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. Unless there's multiple, they're probably not going to go for it. They're going to get gored. Sometimes that's all you have to do. Face your fear. Look it straight in the eyes and be like, nope, this is going to end badly for both of us. Not worth it. It's not going to be an easy thing. It's not worth it. And it's not me thinking I'm big and bad. Like if I ever, no, I'm not a big person. I'm not. But man, the kind of heart I have, I don't give a shit. I don't. We both get fucked up. That's fine. As long as it's not easy for you, that's fine. And most people who are predatory, they're not willing to get messed up. They're not. When you face your fear in the eyes, look it straight in the eyes like, nope, I don't care what happens. I'm doing it anyways. Usually what ends up happening is you're no longer categorized as prey. That's how humans function. I don't know if you guys know this. That's how humans function. And all of this is communicated through pheromones, body posturing, even the slight nuances in the way you hold your eyes. All of this is communicated. It's very subtle communication. You are communicating, you are broadcasting to your environment, whether virtual or in real life, if you're willing to agree to be a victim. You're broadcasting that. Yeah, you're broadcasting it. Why have the people who once formed groups to try and cyberbully me, why did they stop? I didn't take legal action. I didn't file any police reports. I didn't do anything. Why did they stop? Because now what I broadcast is, I wish a motherfucker would. I wish you would. I wish you would. And they're like, oh, no, never mind. See, before, all I was like, oh, it's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. Eventually they'll get bored and they'll stop. I'm so sorry, everybody. Now I'm like, bitch, try it. Try it. I've reached my max threshold for patience, for foolery. Try it. Try it. Of course, they're not going to try it. You have to find your reserves and you have to be willing to overcome your own hesitation. The parts of you that are willing to defend you, willing to speak up for you, unwilling to allow you to continue to accept treatment that is not worthy of you. That's typically the part that you're the most ashamed of. Why? Because someone somewhere along your journey, probably when you were still a child, they found it hard to control you. And so they instead went ahead and made it a point to try and shame that part of you into submission. No, let that part be the one that steps forward. Let that part of your spirit free. Let it be the one that speaks up and speaks out. Have patience with your process. Everything is coming together in perfect time. I'm getting the sense that what's coming together has a lot to do with you finally breaking out of your shell, a shell that you were never supposed to be in. You saw it as a shell. In reality, it was nothing more than a societal cage. Mm-mm. You've caged yourself up for what? For what? To make people more comfortable. More comfortable with what? Your existence? You can't change the fact that you exist. Allow everything to come together. Break through this membrane and walk forward powerfully. You've had a timeout already. You've had a timeout. For how long? The part of you that defends you, that's willing to defend you, the part of you that's willing to do what is necessary to get the results that you deserve, right? That's the part of you that's had a timeout for how long? It's time to tag that part back in. Tag it back into the ring. Let it be the primary part of your character. Because I think right now what's happening is you're becoming aware of the realization you're going to have to fight your way out of this circumstance that you've been in for far too long. And I think you'll be surprised at what you're fighting. I don't think you're going to be fighting another person. I think what you're fighting is your own insecurity, your own self-doubt, the part of you that doesn't believe you deserve everything that your soul is heading your way. You deserve a lot more than you allow yourself to be comfortable with accepting. That's fine. Be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. It's okay. Just be uncomfortable, but accept it anyways. Allow yourself to finally have what is rightfully for you. Today, I'm going to be live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube. If you would like to join me to get some energetic work, reading, bioscan, any of the things I have offered, etheric medicine sessions, please click on that QR code or the link in the comment, and it will take you exactly where you need to go to see what I have offered for this evening. And then come back at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, Sunday. I'll be live and I'll be waiting for you. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. And don't forget to find me on TikTok. I'm going to be live there as well. Bye, everyone.